Hello, and welcome to the second podcast for The Joy of Being Incomplete. Today I discuss the idea of awakening, what it means to awaken to your life again, and why it's so necessary in the spiritual process. So I start off the first chapter of The Joy of Being Incomplete by discussing something called detachment, something I call detachment, which is when you no longer feel connected to different aspects of your life. You no longer feel joyful and passionate and empowered by your life, but you just start to go through the processes. You start to fall into routine, and you really fall out of love, connection, and enjoyment of life. So for me, the spiritual process is all about reestablishing connection with yourself, with those around you, and with a sense of higher purpose and spirit, however you want to define that. So awakening is that process. Awakening is that initial and immediate jump back into your connection. Now, detachment happens for various reasons. We become detached from our connection to life because we are overwhelmed, because our emotions become challenging for us, because we go through difficult times, we suffer tragedies, we go through failure, disappointment, and regret. We have fear of overcoming certain things in our lives, and all of these things lead us to live outside of ourselves. So living outside of yourself really is almost taking on a persona and not being authentic or passionate about your life anymore. When you live outside of yourself, all of us do it to some extent. Often we just do it for short stretches, but sometimes we can do it for years. We can spend years not being authentically us. So when you've lived outside of yourself for a long time, it becomes harder and harder to know who you are and to reconnect with that. And awakening is that process. So I outline what I call the highest truth, and the highest truth really is synonymous with this concept of God. And when I define God, one of the questions I had was how God and godliness works with what I try to construct as a rational and practical spirituality. The idea of God might seem very esoteric, very metaphysical, and unscientific to a lot of people. So God for me has very simple definition, which I find to be the most empowering definition. Whatever the ontological existence of God, God to me really is about the common definition I found in lots of religions and spiritual truths is that God is the highest good. So God is everything that we can define as good to the highest degree. And God is also that presence, that spirit, that underlying essence that gives life meaning and purpose. So I do believe that life has meaning and purpose. I believe this is not accidental, even though it might be undetermined. It's not accidental that we're here. It's not accidental that we do the things we do and that we have this calling towards good. And I think all of us do have it. All of us have this calling towards good and towards being our highest selves, which I call God. So if God is the highest good and God is that presence which gives meaning and purpose, then godliness is our emulation of those qualities. When we live in godliness, we are looking at the highest good inside of ourselves, the best person that we can be, and expressing that. So godliness for me can be defined by a few key terms: beauty, passion, freedom, power, all of those terms which define a life that really is empowered and joyful and fulfilled. So when you can reconnect with your godliness, that is the process of awakening. remembering it, first of all, and then making it something that's always present and always practical in your life. So I go through some processes in the book about how you can remember your highest truth, and lots of people have lots of different ways of doing it. For religious people, it involves prayer, maybe meditation in lots of spiritual practices. It could involve things as simple as looking at pictures of your family, remembering how much they mean to you, reading inspiring books, which I find very powerful for me, or any of those processes which really just is a ritual of remembering that there is something meaningful, something that is powerful beyond the mundane or beyond the difficulties that you're currently going through. That's awakening. And I also use this term then once we go through this process of awakening, we reach enlightenment. Now, enlightenment very often is reserved for these spiritual gurus as a concept, but I feel like enlightenment is something that can be really practical for all of us. Enlightenment is seeing the truth behind the illusions and reconnecting with that. So I refer to the world of things, the things that we're confronted by, as illusions, simply because I contrast them with the highest truth. So I'm not saying that the things around us don't exist. I'm saying that in comparison to the highest truth, these things can give us fear, they can give us uncertainty, they can give us confusion and that sense of incompleteness, which is not a reflection of our highest truth, which is God, which is meaning, purpose, and goodness. So these are the illusions which sometimes very often distract us from that highest truth. And our job is to embrace these illusions, embrace the things of the world, and find ways of how they can reflect our highest truth as well. So that is the process of awakening. Next time I'll discuss our nature and how we are affected by the world of things to express ourselves in some particular ways. Please remember to send any questions you might have to grant.andrews@backtoincomplete.com. Subscribe below, and I'll talk to you soon.